Right. Welcome back, everyone. First and foremost, sorry for leaving you in the dark for what's been, was it 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks? Basically, my brain ran out of ideas. I completely, went empty. I've got notes on my phone of things I want to talk about, but they're not, I can't think of ways to turn it into an episode without just rambling on for the sake of talking. And I didn't want to do that to you. I didn't want to just prattle on for no fucking reason, bore you to death, end up with some of you dropping out and not coming back and losing listeners and losing audience. Alright, not putting anything out probably isn't the best way of doing that, but at least hopefully when you come back to this you're like, oh yeah, the quality is as bad as you remember it being, not worse. So my plan is I'm going to call it a day on Series 1. That's what I'm going to sort of dub it as. So everything you've heard so far is going to be kind of like Series 1. For me, I've wanted to do a podcast for probably 18 months, 2 years, I reckon. And as you do, you just procrastinate and you put it off and you don't really get around to it and you fuck around and you make a million excuses and I haven't got a good enough mic and I haven't got a good enough laptop and I don't know how to do it and all the rest of it. And the Movember stuff and the uptake I got from that was the thing that was like, right, actually, people can benefit from this. It's not really for me anymore. Actually, I can help some other people with this, so stop being a pussy and just get the fuck on with it. So that's what I did. That's how I managed to get this up and running and get on with it and do something. However, that's not what the podcast vision I had in my mind. That's not what it looked like. That's not what I wanted to try and achieve. So the reason, I may have covered this before, I can't really remember. The reason I've called it Blueprint is, now the Blueprint concept, I've had this idea in mind for probably 4 years now, maybe 5. Basically, I like the idea of creating a blueprint, not for anyone else in particular, but kind of look at it in a morbid way. I have a son, Ernie. Well, if I were to get knocked down by a bus, he's not even 3. I don't even get a chance to convey my, not even knowledge, that sounds big-headed, my approach, my outlook on life, my advice that I would give him throughout his life. So to me, I wanted to write a book. That was my plan. I was going to write a book of what do I recommend you do with your life, and it's not even specific. So for me, like the jiu-jitsu, I recommend jiu-jitsu, but I don't recommend everybody has to do jiu-jitsu. But for fuck's sake, have a form of exercise that you don't even think of as being exercise. It's a social group, and it's a social group of people that are the most well-rounded and welcoming and inviting people I've ever met. There's no ego, I've played rugby in the past, and I'm not saying all rugby players are ego-driven, but it's a bit more lads, and if you're not a lads person, it's quite easy to feel a bit left out, a little bit, I don't really fit in here. Whereas I found with the jiu-jitsu, there are lads there that I know they're lads. But then there's other lads that aren't. There's girls, there's ladies, there's older blokes, there's younger people. Like, it's just such a well-rounded mix of people that all have this thing in common, and we happen to just do exercise and learn a skill while we're at it. And I think for your mental state, that's massively important. So I wanted to create a blueprint where I just have like a chapter in there about why if I was to leave information for if anything happened to me, I could just say, look, fuck's sake, get yourself a hobby where there's good, well-rounded people. It keeps you fit and active. It keeps your mind active. It's good for you in general. That's what I wanted to achieve. So that's what Blueprint is to me. And like, just a little bit on how to invest your money. Not you have to do this and put money on this stock or this property or whatever. Just a little insight, because a lot of people don't know this. They don't have a clue that, people might inherit hundreds of thousands of pounds, but no one's ever taught them what to do with money. So they might just go, put it in an ISA. well, fucking good for you. You've earned fuck all. Like, someone needs to explain a little bit. And it's not full-blown financial advice. It's just enough advice to say, look, go and find yourself a decent advisor. I'll part a little bit of wisdom with you that I've learnt, just so that you know when you're speaking to an advisor, you know enough to know if they're just talking shit to you. And that's all the blueprint to me is. It's just, I want to accumulate knowledge from as many different aspects as possible to make you a better, well-rounded person. So the podcast going forward, that's exactly what I want it to be. I want to sort of park the mental health series 1. That was a good thing. I don't think it's irrelevant. It gives you a very good insight as to who I am. If you don't know me at all, I feel you probably would know me fairly well by now. You know a little bit of my backstory. You know how and why I've got to the point I've got to and where I am and what I'm doing this for now. So I don't think it's irrelevant. And to be fair, again, for Ern to listen to this in the future, well, he understands me, you know what I mean? So if something ever happened to me and he's having a real downer one day, he can go, oh, it's cool, Dad struggled with this too. Like, this is how I deal with it. So to me, that's my meaning behind wanting to do the podcast and wanting to, this blueprint brand name that I'm trying to sort of muddle together. So yeah, my plan going forward, I'm going to take I'm not going to take a break from the podcast, but for you guys listening, there will be a break. In the meantime, I'm going to track down some interesting people and have interesting conversations with them. That's my plan. Pretty low key, nothing too formal and podcasty, because I think it's sort of, you hear of like buzzwords, don't you? Social media and the internet like a buzzword, they jump all over it. And podcasts are kind of like a buzz thing at the minute, and it makes me cringe a little bit. Like, everyone's got a little round table with mics on booms and acoustic cladding behind them and fancy headphones, and I don't know, they all want to sit around talking about ice baths. And I know that's exactly what I've done, but I can't sit still. So my plan is I'm going to get a couple of mics that just clip on your collar, meet up with some interesting people. Basically, people that I'm just fascinated with, and I know from, I know a few of you that listen anyway, so I know what you're interested in, I know the things that we have as common ground that we're interested in, so I'm going to try and track down as many interesting people to talk about their area in society or industry or whatever, to just explain what they do, how they do it, why they do it. You'll hear all the stupid questions I have to ask, because I just love asking questions. Hopefully it will give you a better, more well-rounded understanding of the world around you and why things matter and why things don't matter, and sustainability and nature and business and fucking everything. That's what I kind of want to cover. Any areas of, I don't know, culture, society that are lesser understood, that's what I want to understand. Because to me, to make you the best person possible, you need to have the most well-rounded knowledge of what's going on. And me, I'm a little village boy, I'm extremely sheltered. Like, I haven't got a fucking clue what a lot of stuff is in the world. And to me, I think it's ignorant. I find it annoying about myself that it's like, well, you ought to know these things, because it's really unrelatable when you do have to speak to someone. You know what I mean? I know very little about religions, so I'd love to meet some people from different religions, chat to them, ask all these stupid questions, try not to cause any offence, but just understand it, so that if I find myself ever in a situation where you have to chat to these people, well, it doesn't matter, because I understand who they are and their history and a little bit about them. You know what I mean? So you can just, you got something relatable and you've broken the ice. You can just say whatever, hello, in whatever language or religion you need to say hello in. So that's my plan. That's where I want to go with this. I have a few people in mind. I've spoken to a few people. People understandably seem a little bit nervous because, oh, is it an interview? And that's the last thing I want it to be. I don't want it to be an interview, and I don't want it to be oh fucking hell, Ben's just messaged me. He clearly only wants to talk to me for the sake of the podcast. No. Like, I find you fucking interesting. That's why I'm asking you. Forget there's even a microphone. Like, I'm not interested in that. I'm just, for me, I want this knowledge. I just want to record it so that I really kind of like, fuck, I don't care who listens, but at least I can listen back to it. So when I go, oh, what did he say about that? I can just play it back and listen. That's kind of the angle I view all this at. It's my little outlet, my little expressiveness, my weird little hobby that I just track down interesting people and learn about interesting stuff and go for some interesting walks and say interesting a little bit more. So yeah, if anybody has any requests or suggestions or people they know that you're like, you know what, you'd fucking love this bloke. You've all got me on Instagram now, hopefully, Ben Edwards Blueprint. Find me on there, send me a message on there saying like, I'd love to hear about this, or I know this guy, or my uncle's ex-wife's cousin's vet has a house made out of, I don't know, eggshells. Well, let me know. I'd love to know what goes into building a house out of eggshells. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Sorry you haven't had anything. Life's just been full of distractions. I wouldn't even say hectic, it's just fucking constant distractions. It's like, you get half hour and then like something happens. Fuck off. So yeah, that's life at the minute, but that's just my excuse. It's not really your problem. But yeah, I will leave it there. Apologies again, and hopefully it won't take me too long. I'll try and get like maybe 10 episodes together or something. I feel like that's a decent round number, and then I can just drop like series 2, maybe drop it all as one, so it's like cool, anybody that wants to binge it can, or it might be like, nah, fuck it, let's spread it out, make it weekly, so that you've got something to look forward to. Like, I know some of you guys, the 7 o'clock on a Monday, I know like some of you are like, cool, on a Monday morning you listen to that. I know that's how you work, so I kind of like the idea of honouring that and keeping you with like, cool, it's Monday. Like Sunday night you're sitting at home thinking, well, at least when I get to work tomorrow I can put that on and listen to that. So yeah, fun fact for you, because I missed that at the beginning. I got 2, and I don't know which one to give you. I'll only give you one because I need to save some for next time. So I can either explain what a nonce is to you, or I can talk to you about Yorkshire puddings. I'm going to go Yorkshire puddings because this is the most recent one to me, and my brain's just not having it. So Jordan, thank you for this. You'll be screaming at your radio in your workshop somewhere like, I know the answer. How tall does a Yorkshire pudding have to be to properly qualify as a Yorkshire pudding? So if you're thinking like, what are we talking, millimetres? Is inches, yeah? We're thinking Yorkshire. Yorkshire puddings have been around a while, so it's going to be inches. And the correct answer is 4 inches. 4 inches of Yorkshire pudding. That's insane. I guessed 3.5, and then I was like, nah. This is Yorkshire. They don't understand decimal places, do they? So I rounded it down to 3. But no, 4 inches. 4 inches, 100 millimeters ish. That's technically what it has to be to class it as a Yorkshire pudding. I don't know what it is if it's under that. Whether it's just like, I don't know. It's the same as pancake mix, though, isn't it? So whether it's just like a weird fat pancake, if it's not actually a Yorkshire pudding, I don't know. But yeah, fucking, who needs 4 inches on Sunday lunch? I'll leave you with that. Goodbye.